Say,
Do my dance.
do your dance, man. Go ahead, man. Do your dance, man. Do your dance. Do your dance, man.
Welcome back, YouTube. It's your boy DMOSS, man. I am back for another I Got a Story to Tell. Yesterday, if you guys have not, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on yesterday's video. I talked about my first failed robbery attempt. It's up. Make sure y'all go check it out. It's funny. I just talk about the time me and my boy went to go rob somebody and we failed miserably. So today, I'm going to talk about the first time I went to an Atlanta strip club. The first time I went to an Atlanta strip club. So for those who don't know, I lived in Atlanta for quite some time. I went to high school in Atlanta I think from like 2004, 2007. And after that, after I graduated, I kind of moved back. I bounced back between Atlanta and LA for like a few years. But the first time I ever went to a strip club in Atlanta, I was a senior in high school. So you guys have all heard of the historic strip club, Magic City. So at the time, I was me and my boy Raymond was managing an artist by the name of Taekwon, my boy Taekwon from Harlem, New York. We all went to school together, and he's actually the little brother of Cardan. So for those who don't know, Cardan is the ghostwriter of, he actually wrote the Love and Hip Hop intro song. So if you guys ever watch Love and Hip Hop, that intro song, that's Cardan, like him rapping on that. But he wrote Nelly's Hiding Here. He's wrote a lot of different records. He's like a legendary Harlem rapper. But he had a little brother named Taekwon from Harlem also, and he rapped. And me and him went to school together, and I've always wanted to get into the music business. So I was like, you know what? Let me manage you. So me and Raymond started a record company called Fresh United, and we started managing Taekwon. Now, fast forward. My cousin Tamika, who I was living with in Atlanta, was very well known in the city of Atlanta, popular, knew everybody. She introduced me to Jermaine Dupri's cousin named Little Baller. Why did they call him Little Baller? I have no idea, but that was his name. So for months and months and months, I was trying to link with Little Baller, link with him, because I wanted him to hear my boy's music. So I remember the first time I met Lil Baller was in front of, it's a world famous comedy club in Atlanta. I forgot the name of it, but it's a comedy club in Atlanta. I pulled up in my mom's green Volkswagen. My mom had a green Volvo Volkswagen. And I pulled up in it, me and Taekwon, and Baller hops out, super icy. He had a jewelry on and all that. I remember that. He had jewelry on. He had a mohawk. I gave him my boy's demo. Like, yo, this is my boy's demo. Can you listen to it? Da, 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 da. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm going to listen to it. Da, 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 da. That was it. Calling him. I kept calling. I don't know why I was bugging this man, y'all. I'm bugging him. So I'm calling him, trying to see if he listened to it, calling him. One night, I was living in, where was we living at? I think we was living in Camp Creek. I was living in Camp Creek at the time. And I was still in high school. I was a senior in high school. Me and my mom was living in Camp Creek. Me, my mom, and my little sister. I remember this. I'm calling Lil Baller. Lil Baller answers. Like, what's up, man? What you want? I was like, man, I was just calling to see if you, I'm in high school. I'm in high school, y'all. I'm like, yo, I was just calling to see if you listen to the project. He was like, yeah, man, I listen to it. I like it. And he was like, man, come out tonight. And I'm like, he was like, you got a car? I'm like, yeah, I got a car. I didn't have a car. And he was like, man, come out tonight. Meet me here. So I go ask my mom, can I use her car? She's like, yeah, you can use it. I get my mom's car. I meet Lil Baller in Stockbridge. We go to Stockbridge. So from Stockbridge, I meet him up in Stockbridge. He had me as, I'm young. Like, these are, at this time, I don't know how old Lil Baller was at the time, but he's older than me. Like, very much older than me. Probably like, I'm gonna say 10 years older than me. He probably in his early 30s, late 20s. But I'm gonna say 30s for sure. Early 30s for sure. So I'm with Lil Baller. Me and Lil Baller hanging out. I'm at his boy's house. They drinking, they taking shots, they smoking. He was like, man, come on. He was like, you ever been to the strip club? I'm like, nah, I ain't never been to no strip club. Like, at this time, I had never experienced the strip club culture in Atlanta. So he was like, come on, man, we're gonna go to the strip club. So I'm like, yo, so we hop in my mom's Volvo, we get to talking like, man, he asked me what you want. I was like, man, look, this is what I want. I got a boy who rap. I'm just trying to get his music heard, you know, whatever the case may be. He like, all right, I can do that for you. But he was like, you know, before I do business with you, dog, I just want to hang out with you, see what type of dude you is. So cool, boom. That's what it was. So we just started hanging out. So from there that night, we went to a spot called Candy Shop. And I remember we went up in Candy Shop. We never went inside Candy Shop. I don't know where Candy Shop was, but we went to a strip club. Our first stop was a strip club called Candy Shop. So we go to Candy Shop. And I remember us walking up, and it was mad people outside, and Baller was like, yo, how it's looking in there? And they was like, man, it ain't worth it. And Baller was like, turned around, was like, man, let's go. But y'all, when I tell you Baller knew everybody, look, yo, if you watch this and you look in Atlanta, you know who Lil Baller is? Lil Baller knew everybody, and we never paid to get into nowhere, like never. Literally, when he walked up, everybody would step to the side and just let him in. I done went to comedy club. Oh, so at the camp, no, I'm lying, y'all, I'm sorry. We went to the comedy club. The same comedy club I met him at. Matter of fact, let me find out what the name of this comedy club. Hold on. Cause I need to make sure I get like these landmarks to these places. So the first place we went to is the comedy club. And I remember we pulled up to the comedy club. Mind you, I'm under 18 at the time. I'm in high school. I'm like 17 at the time. We pull up, I parked the Volvo. Tierra.
Hello.
Tika.
No, it's Tierra.
Tierra, what's the name of that strip club? Not that strip club. What's the name of that comedy club in Atlanta that everybody go to?
Strip club everybody go to?
No, the comedy club.
The comedy club everybody go to out here?
No, in Atlanta. What's the name of that comedy club?
What's the comedy club that everybody go to in Atlanta?
Where everybody perform at.
Yeah. Keep thinking, hold on.
It's the, huh?
What'd you say?
It's like the main one.
Yeah, he said it's like the main one.
All right, call me back when y'all think about it. Call me back when y'all think about it.
Okay.
All right. All right, boom. So I can't think of the name. I thought my cousins was. So we at the comedy club. We pull up to the comedy club. What's the dude? The father on Next Friday was up there performing. DC Curry, I think his name is. Dale Curry. Doc Curry. Whoever the father is on Next Friday who played Mike Epps' dad was performing that night. I remember. Wait, hold on. I'm going to find out his name, y'all. Hold on. Not Pops. Don DC Curry as Elroy Jones. Yeah. So Don DC Curry was performing that night. I remember vividly. I sat in the front. This nigga Baller got me a drink. It was like I think it was like a Hennessy or something. But he got me a drink. Boom. The waitress came up to me, was like, Baller said, what you want? And I was like, whatever. Whatever. She was like, all right, I'm gonna get you a Hennessy. Got me Hennessy. Mind y'all, I'm 17 years old. They not IDing me, that ain't nothing. None of that. So they give me a drink. Boom. I have me a little drink. Woo. I'm cool. I'm chilling. DC Curry up there. It's women there. It's like, I'm the youngest in there for sure. I ain't supposed to be in there. He cracking his joke. Woo. The event over with. Boom. So from there, we go to Candy Shop. From there, we go to Candy Shop. So from Candy Shop, that's when they hit him with like, Baller walked up like, yo, what is looking like? They like, oh, it's dead in there tonight, bro. It's dead in there tonight. He was like, come on. Mind you, I'm feeling kind of like, I'm feeling good. Like, you know, I had me 2 drinks off the strength of him. You know, never really hung out in these type of environments with like adults. So I'm just cool. I'm already a pretty chill dude, but I'm super chill now. Like, I'm chilling. So Baller like, come on. He was like, you ever been to Magic City? I'm like, nah, I ain't never been. He was like, we gonna go to Magic. So I'm like, oh, this nigga about to take me to Magic City. Like, you hear rappers rap about Magic. You hear about Magic City. Like, you hear about it. It was like it's like an Atlanta staple. Like, I've never had been to, up until that point, I had never been inside of an Atlanta strip club. So I'm like, yo, like, damn, I'm about to go to Magic City. I'm in high school. Like, I can't wait to tell all the homies, like, you know what I mean? So I'm nervous too at the same time, because I'm like, bro, like, I'm 17 years old, my nigga. I ain't supposed to be up in here like that. But I didn't say that to him, so he giving me directions. We just chopping it up, talking. He was like, come on. So we pull up, we hop out, we walk up. I'm nervous. Like I said, nigga, when Baller walked in, they parted like the Red Sea. Like, Baller walked in, them niggas security didn't check him, didn't touch him, didn't do nothing. They walked right in. I was kind of like 2-3 steps behind Baller, like 2-3 paces behind Baller. So Baller walked in before me, the bodyguard security stepped right back. I walked up, they was like, oh, I need your ID. This nigga Baller literally was like, nah, he with me. Them niggas was like, oh, all right, parted like the Red Sea, let me in. Yo, when I tell you this nigga Baller had, I ain't gonna say he had, because he probably still do. When I say this nigga had pull in Atlanta, this nigga had pull in Atlanta. Them niggas did not check me not one time. Them niggas did not check me at one time. So boom, we go inside the strip club. Bitches in there shaking ass. I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh, he was like, yo, sit right there. So I sit down at a table, whatever, I'm chilling. Baller go over to at the bar, do his thing at the bar, whatever the case may be. So I'm just chilling, like, y'all, I get my first dance. I was like, I'm like, yo, in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm like wilding, like, but I'm playing it cool. Yo, I had never experienced that. At the time, I had lost my virginity, but like, yo, I'm sitting there chilling. This girl walks over to me, was like, oh, little Baller. She was like, oh, Baller got you a dance. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm like, all right. He got me another drink, and he was like, all right. He was like, Baller got you a dance. I was like, all right. So I sat back, bruh. That was my first lap dance, y'all. Like, I don't know how old this girl was. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know how old she was. But what I do know is that ass was soft, that ass was fat, and she did it all. She put her leg up on me. She spreaded them lips down there. I was just chilling. And every time I would look over at Lil Baller, he was just back there smiling like, yeah, nigga, like. And it was like an amazing, it was cool, it was dope. Like, it was my first time in the strip club. It was my first time ever getting a lap dance. It was just cool, an overall great experience, man. She danced for me. She gave me a hug. And I think she danced for 2 songs. I know she danced for me for sure, but I want to say she danced for me for 2 songs, but because that's what they supposed to do. When you pay them, they supposed to dance for 2 songs, but she danced for me, whatever. She shook that ass. She was clapping. But when she spreaded them lips down there, I was like, oh my God, like, yo, this will be going on in the strip club. So we end up doing that. I remember that. And then he walked over, he walked over and sat down, sat next to me. And it was like, man, you got your first dance. I was like, bro, that was crazy. I was like, thank you so much. So we stood up in there. I think he got me some food. We ordered some wings. I ate some wings. We stayed in there for about another hour. At this time, it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was probably like 1 in the morning. It was probably like, at this time, no, it wasn't that late. It was probably like 11:30, 12. Because I remember after that, this nigga had me out all night. After that, we went to a spot called Lucky Strike. No, Lucky's. We went to this spot called Lucky's. Again. And I remember that night. I remember that night because D from Rough Riders was there. If you guys don't know, D from Rough Riders, he owns Rough Riders. They're 2 brothers, D and Wop. But D was in there that night. D was in there that night. Akon was in there that night. Akon was in there. And I don't know if you guys remember Gorilla Zoe. Gorilla Zoe, he was in the Charger. This is when the Chargers first came out. I remember the Chargers that first came out. He pulled up in this nice ass, I think it was like a midnight blue. I want to say midnight blue black, sitting on some big ass rims. That shit was hard. He came zooming up in valet, hopping out. I was like, oh shit, that's Gorilla Zoe. But Gorilla Zoe was on fire at this time. And I remember, I think Wild was in D from Rough Riders, whoever the young lady who was at the time was driving, and she was like in the Mercedes-Benz, like Volkswagen. And Akon and them was like in Lambos and shit. I remember this, y'all. Like, I walked inside, and this was my first time in like an adult, like again, me and Baller walked. This nigga had me valet my mom's Volvo, so I was like, yo, where you want me park at? He's like, nigga, park at valet. I'm like, yo, he was like, man, fuck these niggas. Like, I'm like, all right, nigga, we pulled up in valet of my mom's Volkswagen, that yellow, that green, she was a green Volvo, and we hopped out of valet. When we hopped out, oh, what's up, Baller? Everybody. Oh, what's up, Baller? I'm like, yo, this nigga like a hood superstar. Like, who is this nigga? I mean, I know he JD cousin, but like, damn, like everybody knew this nigga. Gorilla Zoe came up and gave him a pound. Everybody giving him a pound, whatever. So we walk in again. The only time they didn't even check me going inside Lucky's. They didn't even check me. Baller walked in. Oh, he with me. They parted. We walked in. Bruh. We went to the bar, he ordered him a drink. The nigga left me. He left me. Like, he left me. He just left and went to do his thing. I was just there chilling. Like, it was my first time in like an adult environment. So imagine me right now bringing a 17, 16-year-old with me to the club. And some of the shit that go on to the club in the club now is like, yo, like, it was just crazy. Some of the shit, it was just wild. Like, it was wild. And I remember this older lady came up to me. And she was like, what you doing in here? She was like, I know you ain't old enough to be in here. And I was like, what make you say that? She was like, you look like a baby. She was like, what you doing in here? I was like, I'm with my boys. I was like, oh, I'm with my, I lied. I was like, oh, I'm with my uncle. She was like, oh, okay. And she was like, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. She was like, all right. And then she ended up getting super drunk, and like niggas was treating her like a straight hoe. They was like grabbing all on her, whatever the case may be. I remember that. And then Baller came over there, checked on me. He was like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm good. He's like, all right, man. He was like, I'm over there on the other side if you want to come over there. I was like, no, I'm straight. He left. And yeah, I remember chilling for a little bit. I remember I chilled for like another 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And I ended up going over there with him. And he was just over there chilling at the table with a couple of his partners. And D, that's when I saw, like, that was the first time I ever seen like the Rough Rider chain up close. Cause Baller and them was sitting at one table, and D was sitting at the table right next to him, and like I had sat at the table right next to him, and that was the first time I had seen the Rough Riders chain up close, and I was like, oh, like, cause you know you would see that on camera, but up close you would never, you know, and I was just like, yo, like, that chain hard, like that chain is hard as fuck. I was like, yo, that chain hard as fuck. And I remember, man, Baller was hollering at this one chick, man. She was dark skinned, and she had a big old ass, like big, like, and at this time, BBLs wasn't a thing. Like, chicks wasn't getting their bodies done at the time. If they were, I knew nothing about it. I didn't hear about it. But this is like 07, y'all. So at the time, like, chicks wasn't getting their bodies done. And I just remember seeing her ass like, yo, what the hell? Like, I remember I asked him, like, is her butt fake? Because it was so big. Like, is her butt real? Like, because BBL, like I said, BBLs weren't a thing at that time. Like, they just weren't. And he started laughing. He was like, nah, it's real. It's real. And I remember him talking to his partner, whatever the case may be, like, man, hearing him say, oh, I want her. But flashback to the comedy club. Roddy White for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons wide receiver was in there that night too. So I want to make sure I highlight that. But back to the story. Yeah, man. And then, yeah, I asked him that. He was like, nah. He was like, nah, it ain't. It's real. It's real. He told his partner. They started laughing. He was like, nah, it's just a big old southern country. He's like, that's just a big old southern Atlanta ass for you. That's what they call Georgia peaches for. And I remember him saying that, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, not act like I didn't. I don't know why I did that, because I knew what they meant by Georgia peach, but yeah, man. And then I ended up getting home at like 3 in the morning. I remember getting home at like 3 in the morning. And it was a school night. It was a school night. I ended up getting home, parking. I ended up taking him back to, I ended up dropping him back off at his house, or dropping him back off in Stockbridge. And matter of fact, I didn't even drop him off at Stockbridge. His parents owned the funeral home. I dropped him off at the funeral home, and I went home. I went back to Camp Creek, shot back up to Camp Creek, and I remember calling my boy Ray, like, yo, Ray, like, yo. I remember I'm calling him at like 3 in the morning. Mind you, I gotta be at school. I gotta be up and be at school at like 8. So I called Ray, like, yo, Ray, like, yo, it was lit, man. We went to the strip club. I got my first lap dance. I remember, yo, everybody was in there, D from Rough Riders, And he was like, for real? I was like, yo, baller, fuck it. He was like, so what about the music? And I was like, yo, I didn't even talk to him about the music, dog. I was just out vibing, enjoying. I was vibing before the term vibing was even out. Like, that night was lit before, it was lit. Before niggas was saying lit, it was lit. When it was them chicks I was in there, vibe, that stripper that gave me my first strip, lap dance, she was a vibe. Like, she was beautiful. Like, I remember that. I remember going there that night, man, and having the time of my life. That was like my first time I was like, oh, like, I love Atlanta. Like, I had an amazing time, man. And yeah, man. Yeah, it was good. It was good. But yeah, man, I got a story to tell. That was my first ever experience at an Atlanta strip club, man. My first experience at Magic City. Shout out to my boy Baller, man. But yeah, man, I'm gonna start hitting y'all with these every day, man. I got a story to tell, man. So if you guys have not been subscribed to the channel, if you like this video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And then yeah, it's your boy DMOSS, man. And I'm up out of here. Yeah.